Hello friends! You're on the Last Days channel. Thank you so much for your engagement and support. And so, a review of events for November 16th and 17th. Horn of Africa. In the Horn of Africa, heavy rains and flash floods have killed at least 111 people in recent weeks. Extreme weather conditions in the region in the northeast of the continent have displaced more than 770,000 people. Particularly hard hit Somalia, Kenya, and Ethiopia. The floods were the latest in a string of extreme weather events in the Horn of Africa. The region recently experienced one of the worst droughts in decades, followed by heavy downpours. According to the UN, millions of people in the Horn of Africa are at risk of starvation. The crisis is also being exacerbated by conflict and disease. Australia. An unexpected phenomenon occurred in several regions of Australia. A downpour with giant hail, the size of hen's eggs, fell from the sky. The hail was so strong that it caused temporary disruptions in transportation and damage to buildings. Rescue services are working in emergency mode to assist those affected. Residents are urged to be cautious for unusual natural phenomena. Meteorologists have declared an emergency warning for the surrounding areas. Shanxi, China. In the province of Shanxi, in the north of China, there was a large fire in the building of a coal plant. The number of victims of the fire increased to 26 people, and at least 38 people were injured. Rescuers managed to evacuate 63 people, of whom 51 were hospitalized. All mining firms in the leisure area where the accident occurred have been asked to suspend production. The rescue operation is ongoing, and the exact number of people who were in the building at the time of the fire is unknown. The causes of the tragedy are being determined. Florida, USA. Hurricane-force winds and torrential rains swept across the U.S. on Thursday, causing devastation in South Florida. Homes and streets were flooded and power lines were damaged. More than 100,000 homes and businesses were left without power and heat. Meteorologists reported that the height of precipitation was more than 30 centimeters, and the maximum wind speed reached 136 kilometers per hour. They also warned that the downpours would continue for 24 hours and bring up to 10 centimeters more rain. The storm will later move into the Carolinas. Yekaterinburg, Russia. Residents of Yekaterinburg are facing traffic chaos due to the snowfall, which began in mid-November. The city is covered with snow. Special equipment does not have time to clean the roads, which leads to car breakdowns and numerous accidents. Traffic jams have become a common phenomenon. The federal highway Yekaterinburg, 2 men in the Sverdlovsk region, had to be closed. Koltsovo Airport also did not escape problems. Flights were delayed. Amazon. The Amazon is the largest river in the world, surrounded by vast rainforests, but even it is prone to drought. The region is in its 5th month of drought, which has been particularly severe in the northern rainforest areas. Water levels in the Rio Negro, a northern tributary of the Amazon, fell last month to the lowest level ever recorded. The effects of the drought are affecting forests. Travel and trade along the river system has slowed to a trickle. Brazil has closed its fourth largest hydroelectric plant, and drinking water rationing is being imposed in coastal cities. Key fish species are struggling to spawn, threatening local food supplies. Pink dolphins are endangered and dumped dead on riverbanks. With the return of the rainy season, river levels usually begin to recover, but scientists are predicting below-average rainfall, which could make the region vulnerable again next year. Each successive blow, combined with continued deforestation and rising temperatures, undermines the Amazon's ability to recover and brings it closer to a tipping point where much of the rainforest could become savanna forever. The degradation of the Amazon will have consequences for the world's climate. Hue, Vietnam. Vietnam's ancient city of Hue, a World Heritage Site and popular tourist destination, was inundated on Wednesday after heavy rains caused flooding. Thousands of houses were underwater. The heavy rains affected several provinces along the coast. More than 2,000 people evacuated from their homes in the central province, where authorities said 3 people were missing. Some sections of the national highway linking North and South Vietnam were also blocked by landslides due to flooding. Forecasters warned that water levels could remain high for another 2 days. According to official statistics, natural disasters including floods and landslides have killed 136 people in Vietnam this year. Scientists warn that extreme weather events in the world are becoming more intense due to climate change. Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. In one of the largest cities in Brazil, Rio de Janeiro, a temperature record has been broken, Latin American media report. According to local meteorological services, the air warmed up to 39 degrees the day before. Authorities explained that this figure does not reflect the real feeling of heat. According to meteorologists' calculations, the city residents felt the temperature as 58.5 degrees, which became the highest indicator in the history of weather observations for this city. The previous record was 58 degrees in February 2023. Because of the extreme heat in 15 states of Brazil, including the capital Brazil, declared the maximum level of danger. The heat wave has gripped many parts of the country and residents are advised to stay in the shade or in ventilated areas. Local publications are publishing tips on how to avoid heat stroke or cope with its consequences. People are trying to cool down with fans and air conditioners. Utility companies have already said that power grids cannot withstand the load. Astrakhan, Russia. A part of a residential building collapsed in the Astrakhan region, killing 1 woman. There were no people under the rubble of the collapsed part of the house. All the residents have been identified. In connection with this, a state of emergency was introduced in the region. Rescuers of the Ministry of Emergency Situations and the Emergency Rescue Center of Astrakhan are working at the scene. According to preliminary data of the investigation, the incident occurred during construction and repair work in one of the apartments. A criminal case has been opened under articles on causing death by negligence and destruction of property. Dubai, Arab Emirates. On the night of Friday, November 17, 2023, the National Meteorology Center of the United Arab Emirates recorded heavy rains with thunderstorms in Dubai. Heavy rains with thunder, wind and lightning hit the UAE around 5 a.m., but by midday forecasters promised sunny weather for the population. The Dubai Roads and Transportation Authority has issued a warning about possible waterlogging of the main highway. Motorists are advised to choose alternative routes. School children were transferred to distance learning, and heads of organizations were advised by the authorities to be flexible to employees and allow them to work from home. Dubai police have sent out an emergency notice urging motorists to avoid areas that may be flooded. Drivers are advised to be cautious due to the rainy weather and to observe speed limits. North Ossetia, Russia. A fire near the village of Mazur in North Ossetia has caused cancellation of classes at school and kindergarten. Dry wood has been burning near the settlement for the second day, but there is no threat to the village itself. However, the smoke has covered the entire gorge, and people are advised not to go outside unnecessarily and not to open windows. The fire is spreading along the steep mountain slope, and Emergencies employees have not yet been able to start extinguishing it. There is no way to get there, but sentries are posted all around the perimeter of the fire's spread. At any moment the fire could spread to residential buildings. According to eyewitnesses, the source of the fire was a short circuit of the power line in the Mazura area. Accordingly, dry vegetation immediately caught fire, and strong wind gusts contributed to the very rapid spread of the fire. Already 2,000 meters of dry vegetation has burned out, and it was only at dawn that firefighters risked climbing up the steep slope to manually fight the flames. Santa Catarina, Brazil. According to local authorities, major floods and landslides have left at least 21 people dead or missing in Santa Catarina County in Brazil. More than 1,600 people are in a critical situation as their homes and vehicles have been destroyed. The city of Presidente Getulio was hit hardest by the elements, where floodwater levels reached people's shoulders. According to the meteorological station of the city, 125 millimeters of precipitation fell during the day. The city is located in a narrow valley and is surrounded by high mountains. In the neighboring city of Rio Grande do Sul, 90 millimeters of rain fell in 24 hours. Roads, bridges and social infrastructure were damaged throughout Santa Catarina County. Iceland. Since the end of October, more than 24,000 seismic tremors have occurred in the southwest of Iceland, which may indicate an impending eruption of the Fagradalsfjall volcano. The Icelandic Civil Protection and Emergency Management Service expects it to begin within days. The earthquakes have already created a 15-kilometer-long crack in the Earth's crust through which lava could begin to flow. The fault has cut through the center of the port city of Grindavik, 40 kilometers from Reykjavik. Local authorities have evacuated the entire population of the port, 4,000 people, and closed the area to people until further notice. It is expected that the volcanic eruption may cause serious consequences for the environment and local residents, so it is recommended to follow the local authorities' regulations and stay at a safe distance from the risk area. Indonesia. An earthquake with a magnitude of 5.7 occurred off the coast of the Indonesian island of Sulawesi, reports the U.S. Geological Survey. The epicenter of the tremors was located 96 kilometers southeast of the city of Manado with a population of about 451 people. The source of the seismic event lay at a depth of 303 kilometers. Fluctuations of the Earth's crust were recorded at 23:20 Greenwich Mean Time. There was no information about casualties and destruction. Our planet. 3 magnetic storms are expected on Earth. A weak magnetic storm of G1 level will pass on November 22nd. Geomagnetic disturbances of the same level are predicted for November 24th and 25th. On November 23rd, the magnetosphere will be excited, but will not reach the values of the storm. Up to the end of the year, there is a probability of repeated recurrence of the average magnetic storm of G3 level. Taking into account the growth of activity of the Sun, the decrease is not expected. Storms of this level will be regularly repeated for at least 2 years. The probability of recurrence before the new year is quite high. Magnetic storms are categorized into levels from G1, weak, to G5, extremely strong. In weak storms, headaches, weakness, drowsiness, and decreased attention span are possible.